everyone. So today I'm going to do a video on friendship, and this is kind of similar to the confidence video, and in fact in that video this was the topic that was highly requested. And as I was writing the treatment and thinking of the ideas that I wanted to present in this video, I quickly realized that unfortunately, unlike the confidence video, I can't give concrete examples for friendships. It's a very subjective thing. Relationships in your life are a very personal thing. So the best advice that I can give you is you have the right to have standards for the people that are in your life and not just romantically. And I'm gonna cover a lot of things in this video, but the most important thing that I can say is if you've never sat down and asked yourself, what's important in a friend to me, then this is the time to do it. And if you have people in your life that you're like, how did I become close with this psycho? It's probably because you've never set the standards, you've never communicated those standards, and whenever you've had issues, you've probably never addressed them. And whatever situation you're in, this is gonna hurt people to hear it, you're in it because of you. Whether it's something that you didn't proactively work against, or something that you didn't react against, or what have you, your current situation is your doing. First thing you have to realize is you're responsible. So as I go and work through, I'm gonna cover a whole lot of things. It's tough to keep it organized, but it's just a lot of food for thought, and it might take some time to process. So if it's something that if you're in the middle of some turmoil, or you were one of the people that wrote me and asked about your friendship, listen to the things that I'm gonna kind of cover and see how they apply to your situation, and know that you 110% have the right to say, this is my life and you are toxic, therefore you gotta go, okay? Also, a lot of the things that I talk about can apply to romantic relationships. So if you wanted some advice about romantic relationships, well, a friendship is the best foundation for a romantic relationship. So you can think of it in that context if it applies to you better. But again, I wish that I could be a little more concrete, but know that what's important to me and to you and to that person is going to vary. And the most important thing you can do is figure out what's important to you and then start the evaluative process. So let's get started. So I'm going to touch on a couple of things. I'm going to touch on, how to evaluate if somebody's a good friend, what to do if you have a bad friend, and how you can be a better friend and attract good friends into your life. So while I was thinking about this video and trying to kind of pan out the ideas that I wanted to discuss, I had remembered something that my older brother, who is in medical school right now and he's doing his rounds, he'd said something to me on the phone that has stuck with me ever since, and I've found myself repeating it numerous times. But as he's doing his rounds, he has helped give birth to a newborn and seen somebody die, and all probably within the same day. During a very somewhat emotional conversation that we were having on the phone, he said to me that the only thing between life and death that's worth living for are the relationships that you have with people. Other people are important, and I think that's why that people have so many questions about relationships and friendships and just people in general. So that's going to be the thesis of this video, and everything that I talk about is going to kind of come back to that, because if you have a passive approach to life and the people in your life, you're denying yourself the liberty of living a full and rich life. And I don't think it should be, you watch this video and then take out your samurai sword and heads roll, but I think that if you've never stopped to think about it, like, in an ideal world, you think about what you want out of a mate, out of a partner in life, out of a spouse. And a lot of people don't stop and do that for friendships. They just let people in their life, in and out of their life, frankly, and don't give it very much thought. And if you've never given it much thought, I think this is the time to think about it. So before we talk about other people, and we talk about your friends, let's talk about you and yourself. In order for you to have fulfilling friendships and to have good people in your life, you have to be a good person, right? Because whatever you put out into the world is what you receive back. You can think about that as energy, or you can think about it as God, or you can think about it as karma, but it's the truth, and you attract what you are. So make sure that you are a good friend. So if you want to have good people in your life and you want to have good friends, You need to reconcile between the expectations that you have for other people and the expectations that you have for yourself. So they're not gonna be perfectly even. You're never gonna find somebody who values the same exact things as you do. And if you do, and they're of the gender that you prefer, please marry them. But it should be pretty close. If you have high expectations for the people that you want as friends and you have low expectations for yourself, you are a pompous ass and nobody wants to be your friend. I'm sorry. But if you have low expectations for the people in your life and you have very high expectations and standards for yourself, you're always going to be disappointed. Okay, people are always going to be letting you down, and you're not really making room or having room in your life for the people who can really add a whole nother dimension to you. So reconcile, never go down, always bring this up. So bring other people up, or not bring them up, choose people who are your equal in that sense. A great place to start is to make the statement and say it out loud, and then to think about it and then reflect. It is a privilege to be my friend. Two things to keep in mind. Be really honest with the answer. It's just you and yourself, so I hope you can be honest with yourself. And the second thing is, at some point, you're gonna want that to be true. You're going to want to really genuinely feel, like, be a good friend and feel that it is a privilege for people to be your friend. Otherwise, no one else is gonna think that too. And it is, it's a privilege to be your friend. It's a privilege to be my friend. I know that and I believe that. And I think my friends believe that too. You might feel one of two ways or a combination of both. You might think, okay, you know, I'm not the best friend. I tell other people's secrets, or I'm terrible at commitments, or I'm really flaky. I cancel last minute, or I go back and forth. I'm very wishy-washy. Or maybe, you know, I make little jabs, or I talk about my friends behind their back, or whatever it is, whatever you value in a friendship is what you should be evaluating yourself on, right? And if you think to yourself, well, okay, I'm a pretty good friend. I don't do anything mean or malicious, and my intentions are good, and I'm not perfect, but the flaws that I have don't do any collateral damage in the relationships that I have with my friends. Then another question to ask yourself is, you know, who in the company that I keep has abused this privilege beyond repair? Okay? And beyond repair is going to be completely subjective, because what I value in my friendships is going to be different than what somebody else values in their friendships, and it might be different than what you value in your friendships. So it's really about kind of looking within and thinking, not can I forgive, because you should forgive everybody. It's, do I still want you in my life? Does your opinion matter to me? Does your presence matter to me? Do I count you as somebody who's important and valuable to my life? Unfortunately, I can't list out a rubric, because that's something you're gonna have to determine on your own. And if you've never taken the time to sit down and think about it, then now is the time to do it. No one expects you to come up with an answer overnight. Think of it as something that you actually want to spend time to resolve. Find a solution in your head. Write it down if you have to. A lot of people, you know, a lot of girls will write down, like, this is what's important to me in a man, so that if you're ever feeling conflicted because there's so much chemistry but he falls short, you can look at that list and be honest with yourself and say, you know, I wrote this when I was in a very clear and level-headed state of mind. So if you expel the emotions that I'm feeling about this person, like, this is what I really want, this is what's important, and you have a baseline to go back to. Honestly, one of the easiest ways to get to know if somebody is good enough to be your friend is to date your friends, but not like in the Katy Perry, I kissed a girl and I liked it way. Date your friends the way that you would date a potential romantic partner, okay? So what's important to you in a romantic relationship, it's gonna be a little more lax in a friendship. It generally is, because, you know, I'll go out with a guy and I'll have a certain set of expectations, but for my friends, like, none of my friends are going to father my children or raise my children or have that kind of impact. So as long as those things don't negatively affect me and I accept them for who they are, then they can be my friends. And I do have friendships like that, but, and it's up to you. Like, are you a very independent person, or are you a chameleon? You take on the habits and the traits of your friends. If you do, then you want to be a little more careful about your group of friends. So, What do you do when you have issues? I really firmly believe that you go to the source of the problem. And that means not telling everybody but the girl that you're mad at her, or that she does something that annoys you, or that she's a lush when she's drunk. Like, if you're not giving the source the opportunity to hear your feedback or to say what she needs to say, then you're not being productive. When I have a problem with a friend, I ask them to talk to them and I lay it out, okay? I'm not coming at anybody angry. I'm not coming at anyone accusatory. Especially if they've hurt me, I do not mask my hurt with anger. I value whatever good things happen in the friendship. I think about the repercussions. I think about what do I want to do and say, hey, X, Y, and Z bothers me, and let me tell you why. And don't ever like broach a subject without examples, because how many times, I mean, this happens with everyone. I hate it when you're mean to me. What do you mean? When was I mean to you? Well, okay, per your quote or your text or on the phone, these are the exact things that you said. So come with examples, and know that if you're approaching a friend to talk about this, that might give them the confidence to talk about issues that they have with you. You're opening a forum, so know that it's not going to be one directional, and know that it's going to be, you know, it's going to go both ways. You both will have to jointly make a decision about what you guys want to do about the friendship. No matter what happens, don't ever be desperate for people, and in romantic relationships and in friendships, ever. Don't be desperate for anything in life. Desperation is motivated by fear, and fear trips you up, okay? How do I live my life without this person? How do I live my life without this person as my friend? And that's terrible. Desperation is a terrible thing to feel, and you should never beg somebody to stay in your life. One of my favorite things to say is that too often, too many people fight the natural progression or disintegration of things in their life. And all you're doing when you see something going a certain way and you think like, I'm going to stop it no matter what it takes, is you're prolonging your own suffering, okay? And you know in your heart of hearts that something should come to an end. You know that you've grown apart instead of growing together, and you can't imagine the routine of life without this person. And it's tough, and I understand, and I get it because I've been there, but it's never that terrible. I never put such a big emphasis on a person or an event in my life that it makes me stop functioning. So I know I covered a couple of things in the video, and it might take a moment to digest, and if there's a few action items you guys can think about as you're beginning to, I don't know, move the trash out of the way. First and foremost, think about how you are as a friend and what you can do to be the best friend possible to other people. And then think about the current friendships that you have, and know that as long as they stay, you're not making room for anything else. And I said this in the confidence video, move the trash out of the way, get out of the way, and physically and mentally move it, so that you can bring something happier, something better, something more exciting into your life. And the third thing is just enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. You cannot control other people, okay? But you can control yourself, and you can control your emotions. You can do your best to live life as well as you possibly can, but you have more control over things than you think. And you always have the choice to be happy. So always choose to be happy, and everything will follow from there. I hope that this helps you guys out. If I said anything or mentioned anything or talked about anything that really gets you going, please by all means share in the comments below, and you can always ask me questions or message me or what have you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.